welcome to Fresh Music Flavor. I go by Alicia, aka Shishisha. Today we have a beautiful gospel artist in the house. I will let her introduce herself. Who do we have in the house today?
Hi there, my name is Priscilla Bailey. I'm a UK gospel artist. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Priscilla. Right, Priscilla, in Fresh Music Flavor, we usually start by a CV. I need you to give us a little CV about yourself, a little bio about Priscilla. Who is Priscilla? Where is Priscilla from? Can you give me a little CV and a little bio about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm a UK gospel soul artist. I was actually born in Birmingham and raised in Birmingham, the UK. I've been living in Southend-on-Sea for just under a year now. I came here for work. My work is actually a speech and language therapist, so I work in healthcare generally. Yes, I've been singing for quite a while, perhaps nearly 20 years now. It started with my grandmother. She was a worship leader in her church, and she always taught me hymns and things when I was little, just a little toddler. And she'd get me to sing with her while she was getting me ready for church. I didn't really start singing until much later on, when I became a Christian in 2001. I was very shy. I'd just been introduced to a church worship team. So I was out with them, and then an outreach team, and then I joined a choir, and then I started to do my own solo stuff, and then I was leading a jazz band, and it just went from there. So
oh wow. Now can you just tell me a little bit about why you chosen to do gospel? You said obviously your auntie brought you into doing that, but can you tell me why you've chosen to do gospel?
It wasn't really my choosing. I believe God because I've become a Christian in 2001. It wasn't even on my mind, if I'm honest. And after, say, a couple of years, I was in and out of doing outreach outside with the churches that I was with, and just evangelizing on the street and telling people about Jesus. And I had a few people prophesy over me that I'd be singing, and some people were singing already, and I said no. And it was a bit baffling because no one had heard my singing voice around that period of time. So I just felt a prompting, like a leading from the Holy Spirit to say, go to do some vocal training. So I managed to, through a friend, I found a lady who ironically was part of a gospel group in the 80s. Her name is Marcia, and if you look her up, she was in a group in the 80s, very well known in the UK. And she taught me what my voice sounded like, how to bring out my voice and stuff, and it just went from there really. So it was a God's choosing.
Oh, okay. Guys, you've heard Priscilla was definitely chosen to sing by the Almighty himself. Now, Priscilla, can you tell me what sort of struggles have you faced during your career of singing? What sort of struggles have you faced? It could be in singing, it could be doing in anything actually of your career.
I think the main struggle, I think you'll find with a lot of singers, they do get a little bit self-conscious when they're singing in front of people. I think the main struggle though is because I write my own songs, and so whenever I'm releasing a song, I never know if people are going to like it, and so it's a battle in the mind as to whether people are going to accept it. And I think that's probably one of the main struggles. but I'd say I'm still learning about the business as well, and there's a lot to learn. I just assumed, you know, you do it for the love of singing and you put your music out there, but it's not as simple as that. You know, so much that goes into trying to promote yourself, marketing, and I'm not very technical, so my social media has also been a bit of a challenge for me to organise.
But how do you juggle the two, you know, with your singing and also with working? I believe you're working full time, right?
Yeah, up until recently I was working full time. Before it hit, the workload increased drastically, and I was on the verge of burnout, unfortunately. So I decided to reduce my hours to part-time. And to be honest, it's been a blessing because I've been able to concentrate more on music than I did before. So it's enabled me to be creative in the time that I do have now, and I'm really appreciative that I've got more space and a bit of a balance to do work on this. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of your music, who do you cater for? Do you cater just for strictly Christians, or do you cater for the wider range? Because we know that at this present moment, a lot of gospel artists, you know, are saying they're coming through and they say, you know what, Shishisha, we actually cater for the wider range. And then we only cater for strictly gospel. So who does Priscilla cater for? Is it the wider range, or is it just strictly gospel? I mean, Christian, just strictly Christian.
Okay, so to be honest, I believe the music that I do was birthed from the outreach stuff that I used to do on the street, because later on, following from singing in worship teams, I was asked to join groups and sing to people outside and tell them our testimonies and pray for people. And the songs that we used to sing were kind of popular songs, but we'd kind of put Christian words to them, like Christian messages, and you know, just to tell people about the love of God. And from that, my music was generally around telling people about Jesus. So I'd say the majority of the stuff that I put out is more for people that aren't Christian, but obviously I have listeners that are. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. In terms of age group, because my background, when I was in my 20s, I used to go out clubbing and dancing and whatever else. And so it's for a lot of people that have that kind of lifestyle as well. So yeah, I try and target people, just to explain to them about where I've been and what God's brought me to.
Okay. Are you able to give us a little testimony about, you know, your life and what has happened to you in your life and why you have suddenly, you know, started to sing? And just give us a little testimony, because obviously you said while you're out there, you know, you're trying to win souls. You're not just doing it for strictly Christians, but you're doing it for the wider range. Can you give me a little testimony about what has happened to your life?
I mean, what do you mean? Like something that's turned my life around? Or
in terms of what has turned your life around?
Okay. Well, to be honest, I think this whole thing has given me a sense of purpose, you know, coming out of, you know, just basically going out with my mates every weekend and not doing much with my life, drifting in and out of different jobs and in relationships and out of relationships. This has given me a lot of focus. I know now what God has put me here for. And I realise, you know, it's opened up a lot of conversations with people. I still have conversations with DJs who say, you know, they've listened to the words of my song and it's made them think. Or, you know, these are people that don't necessarily, you know, go to church or anything, but, you know, I'm in their playlists, and I've seen a lot of doors opening, even on radio stations that don't normally play gospel. music.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I was even on a hip hop radio station, and I'm like, but I don't do hip hop. But it was like, yeah, we will. And so I was like, okay, fine, you know. And so I think in terms of that, God has really opened a lot of doors that I didn't expect him to open. And yeah, it's just been an adventure. It's been a real adventure.
Wow. And now in terms of, the pandemic and everything, we all, a lot of people had lost jobs, a lot of people had lost their loved ones. How did you overcome, the pandemic in terms of your music, in terms of your career? How did you come about with the pandemic situation?
Well, I almost didn't, unfortunately. I think, like a lot of people, we didn't know what was going on at the beginning. It was quite, there was a fear of the unknown. We didn't know what was going to happen to us.
Yeah.
How, it just seemed to be a lot of panic at the beginning. And working in healthcare, we just kind of made up the rules as we went along. We didn't know what we were meant to be doing. And so after a while, a lot of prayer and just trying to be careful. I think for myself, I didn't want to, take the infection to work or back home or whatever, and that was always on my mind. So I was just very prayerful during the pandemic. And I think when I started to realise just how much work was being put on my shoulders, I was trying to get support from my management, and that wasn't happening. And then it was just a case of, I'm going to have to come out of this, because I'm starting to feel burnt out. And I suppose for a lot of people, who were able to work from home, which was great for them, that wasn't the case for me.
Yeah.
But once I started to, do the part-time work, I started to see a lot more balance. And I think God, it just allowed God to minister to me and show me that He's in control.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times just a lot of panic and fear about this whole thing, but I think really during that time I've been able to reflect. I'm thankful that God's brought me through without me even getting COVID. I haven't had COVID, and I've seen a lot of patients over that period of time, and I didn't. So I just thank God every day.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that is so good to know that you were seeing different patients, and you didn't catch COVID, which is really amazing. Now, I just want to ask you a little bit about your latest track. Can you tell me a little bit about your latest track?
Yeah, so Lift Your Hands Up actually came from that experience of working through the pandemic. And Lift Your Hands Up, just for me, it's a sign of surrender and giving everything to God, because a lot was on my shoulders during that time. I think there's even, I think one of the lyrics is, everything is on your shoulders, weighing down like boulders. It was kind of like, that's how I felt. A lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And this was just about, once you've done everything that you can do, give it to God. Just give everything to God, and He will take care of it. Because even when I was stepping out from my full-time role, it was a worry about, okay, how am I going to survive financially? But God's been taking care of me, and it's all because I've surrendered everything to Him.
Wow, that is an amazing message behind the track. Now, Priscilla, okay, you said you've written this song within the pandemic. Now, I want to know if you are able to give me your top gospel artist that has inspired you to do what you're best at. Top 3, on the top of your head, I need to know your top 3, gospel artists.
First one I'd have to say is Kirk Franklin. He's always so relevant in the messages that he sings, and I'd say I'm very inspired by him and even the styles of music that he does, because it's similar to what I like to listen to and do. So I'd say Kirk Franklin. Kiera Sheard. I follow her on Facebook. She's also quite inspirational. Throughout the whole time, actually, she's been doing kind of virtual gigs and things like that, and she's just, you know, kept going and been very prayerful and always about bringing an inspiring word to believers. So she's been really quite inspirational. Is there another one? There's three, you said.
Yeah, give me three. Yeah.
I'll give you three. Let me see. I'd say. I'm trying to think.
You're not looking it up, are you?
No, Nikki Siricki. Nikki Siricki. She's a UK gospel artist, and she's been very consistent in her ministry. She's brought out some wonderful, very reflective songs. It's always about praising God, and her stuff really touches my heart.
Wow.
I wanted to mix it up there. I didn't want to keep bringing up US artists.
You have heard Priscilla's top gospel artist who has inspired her to do what she's best at. Now, Priscilla, another one. I need to know your top three gospel songs that you have been playing on repeat 24/7. It has to be at the top of your head, 3 gospel songs that you've been playing on repeat.
Have I been playing?
It can be yours as well. You can choose your own one.
I'd say top 3. Love Real by Nikki Siricki. And I'd say can't really name a specific tune because I just like to play music. That's hard. Love Real. I would say
it can be your own one, Priscilla.
That's okay. I would say I'd say Brighter Day by me. That's quite an up-tempo tune. And I'd say I'm Blessed by Sarah Tabo.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's one of my favourites too.
Yeah, it really gets me.
So guys, you have heard Priscilla's top gospel artist and also top 3 gospel songs that has inspired her to do what she's best at. Now, I'm sure you guys are all waiting and you want to know Priscilla's song, you want to see her music, you want to hear it, you want to dance into it. Right, Priscilla, can you introduce your latest track on Fresh Music Flavor?
Okay, so the latest track, which now has a music video to it, so you can check that out on YouTube, is called Lift Your Hands Up, and it's by myself, Priscilla Bailey.
Skidity, 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 skidity. You know them ones where everyone matters, except you don't matter. A disgrace, a disgrace. You feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. Feels heavy like boulders. Heavy weight, heavy weight. But the sparrow, chirp, chirp, chirps away. You said don't worry about tomorrow. You got enough troubles today. Don't worry about food. Don't worry about clothes. Look at how the flowers grow. That is how much I love you. You think you're fine, you're very close. You're very close. Persevere, you'll find hope. Persevere. God loves you more than running on empty, have no more energy left. You need a break, you need a break. You know them ones where nobody knows you're growing indifferent, yeah. Every day, yeah. But the sparrow, chirps away. You said don't worry about tomorrow, you got enough trouble today. Don't worry about food, don't worry about clothes. Look at how the flowers grow, that is how much it loves you. You think you're far, you're very close, you're very close. Persevere, you will find persevere, persevere. God loves you more than you know. God loves you more than you know. He understands. Just lift your hands up, lift your hands up, lift your hands up, hands up to the sky. Lift your hands up, lift your hands up, hands up to the sky. Lift your hands up, lift your hands up, hands up to the sky. Lift your hands up, lift your hands up, hands up to the sky. You think you're far, you're very close. Persevere, you will find hope. God loves you more than you know. He understands. Just lift your hands up. Skiddy, skiddy, skiddy. Skiddy, skiddy, skiddly day, skiddly day, skiddly day, skiddly dee 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 dee, skiddly diddly diddly dee bow, yeah. Skiddly day, skiddly day, skiddly day, skiddly dee 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 dee, yeah. Skiddly diddly diddly dee bow, yeah.
Right. So, guys, you have just heard Priscilla's latest track. Now, Priscilla, can you tell us what you have planned in the next 6 months, 3 months, or a year? What has Priscilla planned for our listener? What have you got coming up?
Okay, so what I've got planned, I'm in the middle of writing my my songs for my album, and so I'll be recording those in the new year. I'm kind of just winding down now for the rest of this year, but yeah, I should be back in the studio at the beginning of next year, and then out doing gigs. Yeah, so that's what I've got planned.
So, guys, you have heard it. Priscilla's got quite a lot of things for us. She's got an album going to be coming out very soon, so she's going to be too busy writing songs, too busy doing videos, and too busy recording at a studio as well. And she will be we'll be waiting to hear from her, and also to see the gigs that she's got planning coming up for next year. Right, Priscilla, it's been a pleasure having you at Fresh Music Flavor. We would love to have you back and hear what else you have got coming for us.
Yeah, it's been really lovely meeting you and being on this, being interviewed. So yeah, it'd be really nice to introduce everyone to the new stuff that I've got coming out. It's quite an exciting time.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Right, Priscilla, just before we go, where can our listeners catch your music or find you or follow you? Where can they catch you?
Okay, so my music's available on all outlets. If you find it a little bit difficult to navigate, it is on Spotify, but generally it will be on Amazon, iTunes, Pandora, Deezer, any of those. Basically, you can download or stream from those.
And where can they follow you? Do you have an Instagram? Do you have a Facebook? Where can our listeners catch you?
Yeah, so on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Priscillabaileymusic. And on Instagram, it's Priscillabaileymusic. And Twitter is Priscillabaileymusic. And I also have a website as well. So if you want to go on that, it's www.priscillabailey.co.uk.
Right, lovely. Right, guys, so you have heard it, you have seen it. It is Priscilla Bailey. She came through on Fresh Music Flavor, and we'll love to have her back again. And yeah, guys, stick around for more music and more FMF meets. Right, thank you so much, Priscilla, and we will see you soon.
Thank you. Take care. God bless.
Bye.
Bye.
Right. Fresh Music Flavor, the new sound.